why does the Apple emoji for a TV look like this? I've literally never seen a TV that looks like that. Are those dials? Hi, my name is Evie and welcome back to my channel. I was looking through the Apple emoji keyboard recently like a true millennial and wondered, why do emojis look the way they do? I mean, who chose this picture or this one to represent objects in a specific category? This TV, why? Tell me why. Well, I'm sure not everyone owns a giant flat screen TV. I haven't seen these ever. So I'm wondering who decided that this picture best communicates the idea of a TV through emoji. This radio. I might have seen one of these in a garage somewhere. For me, a car radio would have been more familiar. We need to talk, Apple. Who has a mailbox like this? Not me. NASA engineers are probably shaking their fists at this emoji because that rocket would not fly. It looks a little bit like a cartoon that a kid would draw. Now, I'm no expert, but in my outdoorsy experience, none of my camping tents have ever looked like that. And I'm quite unsure if it would hold up in the great outdoors. Why is this a typical house? Don't most Americans living in houses have a garage? Do newer houses really have chimneys anymore? Alright, you get the point. A lot of emojis do a good job of depicting the everyday object they're trying to show, and some, I would argue, could do a better job. But how do you choose a single object to represent an entire category, like a tent or a TV? Our brain does this all the time, and psychology has two theories of how we form categories. The first theory is prototype theory, which states that every time we encounter a brand new object, like you walk into someone's house and think, hey, what's that? We compare it to a prototype in our head. Each prototype is the most typical representation of that category. For example, an apple might be our prototypical fruit. A robin could be our prototypical bird, and this mailbox could be our prototypical mailbox. So we categorize new objects if they're similar enough to our prototype for that category. So that object we saw, we compare it to our typical bathtub and decide it must fit in that category. Think of it this way, if you ask a kid to draw something, they'll probably draw the first thing that comes into their head, and that would be the prototype. The interesting thing is that a prototype might not even be a real object that you've seen. It's more like a blended average of all the objects you've seen throughout your life that fall into that category. So that's prototype theory. Another way to explain categories is exemplar theory. Rather than every object you've seen for that category being blended into an average prototype for that category, exemplar theory is more like keeping every image you've ever seen in a file cabinet sorted by category. So you'll have a file cabinet for fruit, you'll have a file cabinet for TVs, you'll have a file cabinet for cameras, etc. And you'd store every example in that cabinet for the category. Rather than blending into an average object, all the exemplars exist and you can reference them in your brain. When you encounter a new object and need to categorize it, it's like flipping through the file cabinet to see which one it would fit into. Oh, this new bird must be a bird because it looks like some of my old exemplars. There's evidence to support both prototype and exemplar theory in the brain. For prototype theory, there's evidence that more prototypical objects are classified faster than less prototypical objects. For example, a pigeon might be quickly categorized as a bird, but an ostrich or a penguin would take longer to put into that group. This suggests that our brain is comparing to a prototype and is taking longer to categorize ones that are far away from it. Evidence for exemplar theory is found in the recency effect. If you recently encountered a certain object, even if it's far away from your prototype, you'll categorize it more quickly. It's almost like the object has recently been placed in your file cabinet and it's right at the top and you can just access it easily. This is evidence for exemplar theory. The exemplar is right there and easy to access, even if it's far away from the prototype. So which theory does our brain use? It's likely that our brain uses a combination of both theories to categorize objects. But where do emojis come in? Emojis seek to convey an entire category through a picture. Whether emoji developers realize it or not, they've essentially created a prototype for a category by creating a single emoji to represent it. This is the prototype for pizza. Pepperoni is apparently the most typical thing people think of. This is a prototypical mailbox. This is apparently a prototypical dog. It's important to note that your prototype for a category can be different than mine depending on how we grew up and our experience with the world. Maybe you grew up with a golden retriever, so to you, that's a prototypical dog. If you grew up in North America, your prototypical bird might be a robin. But on other continents, another bird might come to mind. So there you have it. Emojis represent someone's prototype for that particular category. You might think some emojis are a bizarre choice. But remember that everyone's prototype is slightly or vastly different depending on their experiences with the world. I hope you enjoyed this take on emoji science. I've never seen this particular take on the psychology of emojis, so I hope you enjoyed it. Gotta put that psychology degree to good use somehow. Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for new videos every single week. And remember that science is everywhere.